Good morning, and I make you welcome to another edition of Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebike.
And I'm Choma Okohe.
Okay, we'll be kicking off today with all that we have from our newspaper headlines, and right after that will be our main conversation also. But please do well to be part of our community. And of course, you can always reach and find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. We have Emeka Maduna, good journalist, public affairs analyst, to see us through all that we have. Good morning to you, Emeka.
Yeah,
Good morning, Emeka.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
It's a new weekend.
Yeah, it's a new week. It's a brand new weekend.
Hope you had an amazing weekend.
every day is a work day for me. It's also a day to rest.
Yeah, very well, and also a penultimate day to the Christmas.
Sure.
So
Christmas is
yes, it's hanging around the air.
Yeah, I want to dance a lot on Christmas.
Yeah.
I bought only two set that
Oh
I
wow.
used to dance.
For the dancing.
Yes.
All right, beautiful. Awesome. All right, so let's kickstart today with the first daily we have, and that's coming from
The Guardian newspaper, and on the top strip you have distrust. Others slow financial inclusion amid 4.3 trillion outside banks. Details of that particular story are on page 6.
And also we have on the very bottom strip here, that is on page 27 of the Guardian newspaper, federal government lifts a ban on mineral exploration in Zamfara.
Okay, moving on from still the bottom strip, Ipman says members will see fuel at 935 naira per litre from today. Yes, details of the particular story on page 4.
Beautiful. So not parasitic governance needs prudence, says Ndume.
Okay, this is a cry for help for me. Okay. And the late salaries hamper year tied for 70,000 federal civil servants. Details are on page 3.
All right, there's so many interesting stories here, but let's get to our talking point here. Students' loan to be restricted to high demand courses. Now, we do not know what the high demand courses are, but I would love to say some of them might be, what are those courses that students always very prone to asking for?
The law, nursing, medicine and surgery, pharmacy and co.
Accountancy
yeah,
also.
Cool. Emeka Madinago, at this point, are we not trying to say all courses in Nigeria are not worth going to school to study? Because for the federal government to say they are going to restrict to high demand courses, I want to say some courses are not relevant in our educational system.
Or not ready enough to be sponsored even in the first place.
Thank you very much. You see, that's why for somebody like me, the student loan should not have been in the first place. Why will you give loans to young people? Young people just about to at least get to the first major rung of their lives, which is tertiary education. Give them scholarships, give them bursaries, give them grants, give them, let them have study work opportunities. They can work while they study. For some of us who grew up, through the, my parents were okay, they were middle class, okay, but you see, I had to also find my way. I had to also find my way because I wasn't this type that, if my parents didn't bring, I would be hungry. No, I had to find I did different kinds of chores. I was a bus conductor. I sold ice cream, sold water, did different things, different jobs. So I wasn't that kind of laid back youth, No. So provide work opportunities around universities. I've said this many times. There was a university I went to in the US. I did, they organized an internship program, with the United States Department of State. That was 2021. And then I noticed that the university had spaces for quick service restaurants, for hotels, for filling stations, name it. And their students were the people working in those places. The hotel I stayed in, the campus, it was an Indian man who was the owner of the hotel, the managing director. His wife was in charge of the restaurant. His children were helping with, working with the students and all that, helping in the cooking, in all of that. The other thing is hospitality. You understand? The front desk was students, So what I'm saying is this: create opportunities around tertiary institutions. and provide and let them give a percentage, reserve a percentage of their workforce for students. Then restructure learning times, lecture periods, so that students can go and work. Look, one of the best things that can usher you into adulthood is learning how to earn a living. That is it. I'm not talking of child labor and all of that. But what I'm saying is that, outside of child labor, you can actually also teach children how to learn, you teach children, to learn how to, how important it is, honest labor is. Then also, as they grow older, make them realize that, look, if there are opportunities, find them and earn a living. Now, what are we talking about? This student loan, I'm against it, because now it has moved from general application now to, discrimination. And the Constitution bars say you should not discriminate against anybody on the basis of status. Now, you are going against the Constitution, saying courses in high demand. Who said those courses are in high demand? Let me tell you today, around the world, go and check the courses that are in high demand. It's not law. It's not that, because, like you mentioned, it's not all those things. Social media management is one of the high demand courses in the West, in China. You'll be surprised, courses that you think are meaningless. Do you know, they tell you that the road to a man's heart is through his stomach. You see Nigerian women, their mothers will train them so much, cook well, so that your husband won't fool another woman. Do you know being a good cook or being a good chef, a chef is in a high demand area.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
This really makes me feel so sad. I'm just trying to go through an article here, where it says the historical scholarships in Nigeria since 1950s, a challenge to historians. And basically what it's trying to say here is in the 50s, 60s, the 70s in Nigeria, there were lots of scholarships. Students were asked to travel out of the country, which of course our president equally benefited from in the 70s, where he saw himself, at the Chicago State University. And so on. And it's so, disturbing that at this time in our lives, where every course matters, students in the United States are sponsored to come study Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo in Nigeria. So if those courses are not in high demand, then why would a government sponsor their people to come study it here? And here we are. I guess this would even give rise to the closure of some faculties.
True, very true.
Yeah, because everybody would love to run to where the demands are, and it's a very disturbing one.
That means our educational system needs to be it needs to be changed. There needs to be a setting, and a lot of things need to be checkmated. The courses that are out of vogue need to go and bring in new.
Well, every course is actually very important. That's what I think.
But looking at the future projection, next 5-10 years, how relevant will those courses be?
Well, let's see how that goes.
The courses you think are high demand are the ones that will even go. Next in law, they're the ones that will even go out the door.
Especially with AI and all.
Yes, but robots will not cook.
Will not cook offense alive.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's get into the next day without wasting much time, and that is the Punch newspaper. On the top strip, we have travelers battle unending price hikes ahead of Christmas. Details are on page 36.
And also the big story here, Stampede, that states list tough conditions for palliative distributions. Organizers must secure permit, provide medical team, ambulance, security orders, insist, and that's government.
Okay, moving on, petrol to sell 935 naira per litre from today, coming from Ipman.
And also we have police deny killing hunger protesters, demand amnesty apology.
Okay, moving on, how terrorists smuggled Libya gun truck into Zamfara. Details are on page 18.
Yes, so let's talk about that, if we may. How terrorists smuggled Libya gun trucks into Zamfara. Emeka Madunagu, I read on one of the dailies, I think yesterday, where Bola Ahmed Tinubu had directed before the end of 2025 that terrorism, insurgency in the north of Nigeria should be no more. And here we have trucks being smuggled into Nigeria with ammunitions in them. Do you think we would ever see an end to insurgency in Nigeria, particularly the northeast of the country and other parts?
We can see the end to insurgency today if those in power fix the country. Today, if they fix the country.
Now, talking about fixing the country, because this is one statement you always make, how will it be fixed? Is it going to come from them alone? Because to make this country work, rather, both the government and the citizens needs to come together and have that synergy.
Good. 70% of crime is motivated by socio-economic factors. Simple. When people don't have anywhere to go to in the morning, factories close by 5 p.m., everybody goes. Nobody walks through the night. No economy can thrive like that. No economy can thrive that way. The economy must be moving 24 hours round the clock. You must accommodate as many people as want to work. I know there are those who are social deviants. There's also a way to accommodate those ones. I know there are those who are, who are driven to crime. There is a way to accommodate those ones. But if you can ensure that at least 80 million of your people who are in poverty, 10 million of which were said to have been added under the Bola Tinubu administration, so if you can take those 80 million people, get something doing. And I tell you what, there's so much to be done in Nigeria. Look, like somebody said, for God so loved Africa that he gave us plenty problems. Solve one problem, prosperity, abounds. What I'm talking about, price of rice is 100,000. Why not make it a target? That okay, come back, I said earlier, I talked about work study scheme. Send children to schools. The older ones who can go to school, after school, they go to farm. Otherwise, you can say, okay, Fridays, there won't be any school. Everybody will go to the farm. Operation, bring down price of rice to 20,000 naira. Flood people into the farm. Remove the criminal headers that are in the forest. Pump Nigerians into farms to cultivate a rice, to cultivate maize. Egypt saw at a point that trying to cultivate so much rice would be a problem. He moved to maize. And Egypt is doing very well in maize cultivation. So move to maize, vegetables, all of those things are so expensive. Bring down their prices. It is not rocket science. The northern governors who are shouting about value-added tax, look, move mobile factories into mobile food processors into the farms. As you are harvesting tomatoes, you can actually convert them into powder, into different forms, into paste and all of that. Now, when you do all of these things, you will get people employed. Then fix power. The Power Sector Reform Act, the Amended Power Sector Reform Act, says states can generate and distribute. How many states so far have done so? How many states so far have signed laws for electricity generation and distribution? If there's electricity, if there is security, let me tell you something. People will not want, all these terrorists will be easy to catch because it will be easy to isolate them. Find out where they are and deal with them. It's not difficult. Look, Nigeria is the soul of Africa. And that's why the Western world always watches whatever happens in Nigeria. But because we try to magnify our problems as if they are more than the government. Government has power. After God is government too. But you now see people behaving as if these problems are insurmountable. Let us pray to God to solve the hunger in Nigeria. Come on. Is it God that will come and put a hoe in your hand to go and cultivate food?
Thank you so much, Emeka. Thank you.
All right. Just for the want of time, Emeka, on the Vanguard newspaper, I want you to speak to this particular issue. You know this very well because it's actually your second home. Inedu suspended the local government chairman, resumed today. Speak to us.
Yeah, there was this security alert yesterday, to the IG, to the president, that since the court had reinstated initially, they don't say government says it has sacked them. Later, I said they were suspended. But the government does not have that power to suspend local government. It's the State House of Assembly. Now, they use the State House of Assembly. But again, there are subsisting Supreme Court judgments that you cannot just sack local governments. like that. They are a tier of government. I just hope that this constitutional review, ongoing constitutional review, will finally free local governments from the stranglehold of states. So far, the Supreme Court has helped, to properly interpret the Constitution that says that money paid into inflation should be paid into inflation account and distributed to federal, state, local government. I now hope that through the Constitutional review, that we will have 2/3 of states that will say yes, we want local government autonomy. And once we have that, enough of all these things. Now, there was information yesterday that thugs had been deployed by some politicians to the secretariats of local governments in Edo State, to ensure that those chairmen don't resume. Let me tell you something. I tell people one thing. Listen, you impede the progress of governance, you go and burn it. Let me tell you, there is the law of karma. It will follow you. I tell them one thing. You can be paid today. Go and do this, go and do it. But think down the line, there's a legacy you are leaving behind. What people don't realize is this. The fellow who is there as a governor, of course, there is very clear the man doesn't have the capacity to run the state. So he has been doing things, doing all kinds of things, without a clear-cut agenda. And I'm sorry.
So could this be a repeat of Obasanjo's issue? Is he beginning even before 1 year?
It was even as bad as it came. Even with all his education, Obasanjo was a big disappointment. So all the things he did, personalized governance, was dealing with people, seizing people's land, doing all these things were not necessary.
Looking at the way most times these leaders, we expect more from them, can we at least say they function based on their level of understanding and based on the intellectual property they possess?
Good, thank you. You see, a tree cannot make a forest. That is why you have the internet. The internet is a vast world. That's why we tell people read books. Consult with people. There are intelligent people around you, in the state, that are bound the state. If you can't get enough, go outside the state. But you know what? They believe they know what the people want. And then they impose it on the people. Imagine seizing people's lands. For what? People's hard-earned property. They seize it. Look at what Wike is doing in Abuja. Forgetting the fact that he will leave as minister one day. Another minister will just come and scrap everything he has done.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, just about the time. We have a very funny situation, actually, and we hope for a country where we wouldn't have to see or talk about some of these things, but talk about how the Nigeria is sending astronauts to the moon.
Aside from that, we look forward to the day we'll sit down and actually want to actually commend the sitting president, and the developments
and governors and all,
and the good governance Nigerians are enjoying.
Yes.
I want to say a very big thank you to Emeka Magnago. Thank you so much for your time. He'll be right here to take us on the main conversation. And when we return, PDP slams APC as Nigerians' hunger crisis deepens. We'll be talking about that. So stay with us.